Tamashii here, and welcome to part 3 of our Gen 2 glitch video series. Last time we finished up with the coin case glitches and got ourselves a glitchy Pokemon. Today we'll be experimenting with more things that glitchy Pokemon can do to your game, so if you're not all up to speed, click here to watch last week's video. If you're already caught up though, let's get into some glitch hunting. And by the way everybody, I am getting a new microphone, so just bear with me for a little bit longer. Last time we got ourselves a glitch Pokemon called ? With a hex number of FF using the coin case glitch to arbitrarily execute code. As you might recall, our friend FF can be used to hide Pokemon below it, reverting their index numbers temporarily to 000. The last time we took advantage of this to withdraw over 6 Pokemon and corrupt the RAM, today we're going to use it to skip trainer battles and trade a Gen 2 Pokemon to a Gen 1 game. Since FF hides all the Pokemon below it, and is itself considered to be the cancel option by the bag, since it shares an index number with the cancel option, this means Nurse Joy at the Pokemon Center can't tell that you have any Pokemon with you at all if it's at the top of your party. So if you have an FF at the front of your party and lose a battle by having all of your Pokemon faint, you'll white out as normal. But instead of having all your Pokemon healed, you'll actually still have a party of fainted Pokemon and be able to walk around. Remember in my beta secrets video for Gold and Silver, how I mentioned there's an unused battle type? The second unused battle type automatically ends the battle as soon as the player sends out their Pokemon. This battle type is used if the player uses a cheating device to enter a battle without any Pokemon, perhaps indicating that this battle type is simply an error handler. Well, this is how you can cause it to occur. Starting a battle with no usable Pokemon in your party triggers this battle type. Taking advantage of this, we can insta-end as many battles as we want, anywhere in the game until we move FF down to another slot in our party, or withdraw a Pokemon that's able to battle. But of course, that's not the only thing we can do to take advantage of FF's Pokemon cloaking ability. We can also exploit this quirk to send a Generation 2 Pokemon to a Generation 1 game and bypass the species check. Since FF hides all the Pokemon below it, we're going to want a couple safe for trading Pokemon with us so that the game thinks we have enough Pokemon in our party to start a trade. The Pidgeotto, Red Gyarados, and Goldeen I have with me are Generation 1 Pokemon that know only legal Generation 1 moves, so they won't have any trouble entering the time capsule. Our FF is going to hide everything below its species, but not the moves they know. So we'll put a Girafarig in our party that knows only moves that existed in Generation 1. This is the Pokemon we'll be sending to the Gen 1 game. Now we'll enter the time capsule while linked up to a Gen 1 game, and send our Girafarig over. Since Girafarig doesn't have a valid index number in Generation 1, it's going to turn into a glitch Pokemon called 3 Trainer Poké in my yellow game. Just for fun, I also traded over my FF, and it became a Q glitch Pokemon in my yellow version. Remember that thing? 2 years ago, we used one to combine Pokemon and make hybrids in my Gen 1 glitch videos. So if you feel like trying that out, this is another way to obtain one. Arguably not any easier than the old way, but it's something nonetheless. If you send over a shiny Pokemon from Generation 2, and use it to make hybrids with a Q-related glitch we did in the Gen 1 glitches video, you can make all of your hybrids shiny when traded back to Gen 2. You can check my Gen 1 glitch videos for more information about how to do this. Perfectly normal shiny Sea King. Made from a Goldeen that wasn't shiny when I caught it in gold. Neat! Anyway, you can send just about any Gen 2 Pokemon to Gen 1 using FF, and see what glitch Pokemon they turn into. If the Gen 2 Pokemon you want to try and send over happens to know Gen 2 only moves, you can take them to the move deleter in Blackthorn City and take care of that. On the subject of link cable related glitches, there are lots of little oversights and bugs in the trading mechanic that don't require any of the previous glitches to perform. One such oversight involves Pokemon that evolve by trade. If you trade a Trade Evolution Pokemon from Gen 1 over to Gen 2, and it evolves, and then learns a new move, you can then immediately trade that Pokemon back to Gen 1, and it will still know the move. So for example, if you trade a level 52 Machoke from a Gen 1 game over to a Gen 2 game, it will evolve and learn Scary Face in Gold. Scary Face doesn't exist in Gen 1, but since you're already in the time capsule room, you can go ahead and trade your Machamp back to Gen 1. Since there's no data for Scary Face in Gen 1, the move will turn into a glitch move with no name that hides all the moves below it. It also seems to eternally miss. This can be done with all Trade Evolution Pokemon that learn new moves when they evolve, so try it out. Similarly, if you have a Pokemon that knows a glitch move in Gen 1, you can trade it to Gen 2 and it will have a different glitchy effect. For example, rearranging the moves of a transformed Ditto to give the Ditto the glitchy Cool Trainer type move in Gen 1 and then trading it to Gen 2 will allow you to try the glitch move out in the Gen 2 game, where it will have a unique and slightly less interesting glitchy effect. There are a few other glitch moves you can try to send over, but they're all much more difficult to get on stable Gen 1 Pokemon, since Gen 2 doesn't allow you to trade glitchy Pokemon from Gen 1 to Gen 2. It will notice they're abnormal and cancel the trade. That's not the only fun you can have with the Ditto in the time capsule. If you're lucky enough to get yourself a shiny Ditto in Gen 2, you can trade it over to Gen 1. Battle a wild Ditto with it, and allow it to use Transform. Since Transform is the only move your Ditto will know, the wild Ditto will use Transform again, while it's already technically transformed. This will change the DVs of that Ditto to the ones your shiny Ditto has, and since shininess in Generation 2 is controlled by DVs, this will mean the wild Ditto will also be shiny if caught and traded back to a Gen 2 game. This can also be accomplished with any other Pokemon that can learn Transform or Mimic, though Ditto is definitely the simplest. For those of you unfamiliar with DVs, they're a primitive version of the IV system in modern Pokemon games. Only specific DV ranges can cause a Pokemon to be shiny, which is why this trick works. Of course, there's also a way to clone Pokemon using the link cable, as there is in almost every Pokemon game. Only in Gen 2, they made it even easier by changing the way save data works, so there's no risk of corrupting your save file. It works best trading between Gold and Silver, or between Gold and Silver in a Gen 1 game, as Crystal really makes the timing difficult. I use Gold and Silver for this demonstration. On one game, have the Pokemon you want to clone, and on the other game, have a Pokemon that you don't mind being deleted, so not one that you care about. Set up a trade between the two games and select the Pokemon that you want to trade. Let the trade play itself out. Then, when both games say waiting, turn the power off on the game where the Pokemon you want to clone came from. Make sure to turn it off a couple seconds after waiting appears on both games, or right before the games progress to the trade completed text. You might want to do a couple practice trades to get the timing down and figure out exactly when to turn the power off. If done correctly, the trade completed text will appear on one Game Boy, and the other Game Boy will reset, and the Pokemon you want to clone should be on both save files. There are some other glitches related to trading between Generation 1 and 2, but mostly they involve arbitrary code execution in a Gen 1 game, which was discovered after I made my original Gen 1 glitches videos, so I haven't had the chance to explain how that works yet. Maybe someday I'll go back and make a video covering it. But for now, we'll call it a day. Tune in next time as we explore the world of save abuse and check out even more cloning glitches. If you want to check out the last Gen 2 glitches video, you can click here. Or if you want to go back and revisit the Gen 1 glitch videos, you can click right here. As always, don't forget to click here to subscribe for more Pokemon videos every week. See ya!